What's your reaction to James winning the rushing title?
I mean, I couldn't be happier for him. Personally, you know, it's you think back to, you know, look, we're in a team sport, right? And all we ever care about is winning football games as a collective team. But you think back to the training camp, you know, we're sitting up here in these press conferences talking about James Cook. You know, is he a diva? He's not want to be a part of it? Why would you pay a running? And all he's done is just showed up to work and absolutely put on an incredible performance this year. I couldn't be happier for him. Not often do guys get paid and then take their game up to another level. And look, Jimbo winning the rushing title, it takes, you know, all the guys up front that are doing it, the receivers blocking all of that. But and to really do it in one less game, you know, I think was really impressive, and I couldn't be happier for him.
You're on record saying James Cook is not a diva.
I'm on record saying James Cook is a lot of things. He's a man of not a lot of words, but he is not a diva. He's an absolute football player, and we are a large part of who we are because of him, and I couldn't be happier for him.
How much were you watching the Ravens-Steelers game with James in mind?
If I was asleep. You know, yeah. Look, it was important for a lot of reasons to get it, but Jimbo would have showed up and been ready to go for the playoffs. I was happier knowing his 2 carries. He was off the field feeling good yesterday. He's a critical element to our success, and you know, that was an added bonus. But his health was my priority.
Do you have a favorite run of his this season?
That's a great question. I think the first one that stood out to me was the gap scheme against Carolina Panthers, where he had 7 in the hole and made a miss, and took it a long distance. He put the team on his back that game. That's the first one that comes in my mind. But the thing about James is his consistency week in and week out. They know it's not like it was something where we started running the ball later in the season or whatever. It was something that they knew they had to stop James Cook going into the game, and his preparation and knowing what that was going to take, a lot of fun.
You take on the best run defense in the NFL this week. Perfect that James Cook finishes as the rushing title leader. But what have you noticed so far in the way the Jaguars can stop the run?
Yeah, it's obviously still early to give an accurate response to that. You don't make it into the playoffs nowadays without being a strong defense that is going to be able to take away something, whether that's the run or the pass. And look, they've played some of the top runners, right? Jonathan Taylor was part in that division. They've played the top, and they're playing at such an elite level right now that's going to be a huge challenge, huge opportunity for us to go on the road and do that. But I believe it's a challenge that we'll be up for.
Been in a lot of football games now with Deion Dawkins, and he'll see a lot of Josh Hines-Allen. Can you take as much as you can, I know you don't want to get into strategy, into how much your confidence in him against a player like that feeds into the game plan, or just your confidence level of him blocking for Josh?
Yeah, I mean, Deion takes so much pride in being Josh Allen's left tackle. And he knows with what comes with being a left tackle is going against the best defensive ends in the NFL, and Josh Hines-Allen is one of them. And it's a task that I know the best of the best are always up for. They want to go against the best. I have all the confidence and trust in Deion to do that. I know it's going to be a challenge, like it is every week when you go against dynamic pass rushers. But there's a reason he's been our Pro Bowl left tackle, because he's up for those challenges.
Do you guys feel battle tested a bit with the schedule that you've seen, some of the defensive lines you've gone against this year, to be prepared for what they offer? I think
any team that makes it in the playoffs has been battle tested. You don't just walk into the playoffs. Like, it's really hard to win any game in the NFL. But every defensive line, every defense is different in their own way. It's not just different teams might have dynamic defensive lines, but in different ways. And so that presents the unique challenge week in and week out. To win, to get to where you ultimately want to be, you're going to have to go against the best defensive lines. That's how you win in the playoffs. And but like I said, it's going to be an opportunity and challenge for us that I look forward to.
Josh last week was pretty blunt in saying that he needs to do a better job in terms of limiting the number of sacks that he takes. it was a pretty big jump from last year to this year in that number. When you analyze that portion of the offense, what stands out to you in terms of what needs to get cleaned up, moving forward?
I think, look, there's never one specific thing. It was an opportunity this past week to have Josh kind of, Mitch was outstanding yesterday, but it gave us an opportunity for Josh to kind of go back and watch things from the season. Is there anything that has showed up, both scheme-wise, footwork-wise, and hey, what are things that we want to do as we move into the playoffs, or what are some things that we're like, hey, you know what, this isn't something that we need to move forward. And we have an uptick in sacks, and there's never one specific reason for why that is. But he knows if he does a good job, some of the best things he does is keep plays alive, and I'm understanding that. But there's a time and a place to live to another down, and he knows that there's some sacks that he took this year that he obviously wishes he had back.
You mentioned having some time to kind of look at some of that film. Was this mostly week off? I know he took the first snap, but mostly week off. Was it as beneficial maybe mentally for him as it was giving him some rest physically?
I'm sure. It's the toughest position in sports is the quarterback position. What you go in and week out, and the mental, the physical. I mean, you guys see what he looks like after games. It kills me, right? And but then he comes in on Monday, comes in on Tuesday, and he's ready to go on Wednesday. And so anytime you can give that opportunity to rest a little bit, I think that helps both physically and mentally. And I know, don't get me wrong, he showed up yesterday wanting to go 70 plays if he had to, but, I'm excited to see how he utilized this past week and watch Josh Allen play in the playoffs like Josh Allen is.
You mentioned having the time to watch film back from the season, that kind of thing. Was that over the course of the week that what he was doing that?
Yeah, I get. Look, my only attention was on the New York Jets and doing everything I could to put those guys in position to have success. It wouldn't be right for me to, hey, I'm gonna look at our self scouts. You guys go play an NFL game. So I thought it was something just to put on his radar, just to refresh some things. I thought he did an outstanding job of being honest and truth about certain elements. And I know it can naturally seem like it's I don't want it to seem like it's bigger than it is. It's not like he watched it and the whole offense is going to be transformed just because of some notes that he saw. But if anything, it's so hard to watch. You don't watch cut-ups until after the season. And you come in and your season's over and you show up for training, OTAs, and you're like, all right, let's watch what we did last year. And so I thought it was a unique opportunity for him to kind of watch some of those things ahead of time. And, but as you guys know, I got game on the line. I want the ball in his hands, and regardless of whether he watched tape or not, he's going to be ready to go this week.
Did he do that at this time? It was a similar situation in Week 18 last year. Did you have him do something similar to that last year, or was this new to this series?
I don't remember necessarily. I know it was just something that I think the mental element, wanting him to not have to prepare, go through a preparation of watching tape and evaluating himself as opposed to going through the mental of everything, knowing you're not playing. Like I said, I probably make it sound like it's a lot bigger than it really is. But, just like Josh Allen is, everything he does, he exceeds that, and he did an incredible job, really beneficial for us.
Is there a psychological edge or confidence in scoring on the opening drive that it provides? You guys are 7-2 this season, but in doing so, I mean, I'm not saying you don't win when you don't, but just the edge that you think the team gets from scoring on a touchdown on the opening drive.
Yeah, I think it's important to start fast. Like anytime you can, you try to be intentional about openers, and we try to have a lot of communication about what we're trying to get done early. Anytime you can score early, I think it's an added bonus. But I also don't want our guys to feel like we're 0-2 at the plate and we have to choke up. And it's like, man, if we don't score on this opening drive, like, oh man, this is gonna be doomsday. It's like we're gonna figure it out. So all I ask is for them to go out there and execute the plays. And if everybody just does their job, good things are gonna happen. And if it doesn't, we're gonna reload. We're gonna figure out what went wrong and be ready to hopefully go score. Whether you score drive one and you don't score drive two, or you don't score drive one and you score drive two, it ends up being the same. And so I love us when we start fast and things are rolling. But all right, once that drive's over, let's go get ready for drive 2.
Josh Allen has put together multiple impressive playoff performances. I know every season is different, but what is his demeanor when you guys turn the page to the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you guys, I don't think he doesn't prepare any harder. He doesn't, he has a standard by how he does things. But and I don't want guys to have to do anything out of the ordinary besides just doing the ordinary things on each play. But the greatest of the greats are somehow able to take their game to another level in the playoffs. Everything is faster in the playoffs. It's more physical. It's you know that. Look, the reality of it is we're not guaranteed another week, and when he raises his game, everybody else elevates their performance as well. And we don't just assume that's going to happen just because it's happened. He's going to put in the preparation, everything this week. But as we all know, come Sunday, Josh Allen will be ready to go.
Sean on Friday a good bit about what it's been like, the situation of just having 2 quarterbacks on the roster right now. What's that like, whether in practice or in games, from your perspective of navigating Josh's injury the last few weeks, but not having an extra body in Shane here? Just how has that impacted you?
Yeah, I think if you try to look at everything from a silver lining, it was an opportunity for Mitch to get so many reps. And man, he was outstanding yesterday. And he took the look team reps, and he didn't take a rep off last week. And and I felt like he got out there, and he was in a comfortable position. And yeah, I think anytime you can have 3 on the roster, you'd prefer to always have 3. But we're at the time of the season where sometimes you don't get a lot of practice reps. It's all about a lot of it is body and walkthrough, and Mitch was able to capitalize on those added reps.
You've talked about Brandin Cooks and his impact and away from the field as well. But now that he's been in the building, and maybe he even got a breath of, took a deep breath yesterday. What have you noticed his kind of impact on this offense?
Look, I think you felt the Philly game. You saw the impact that he can have. We obviously didn't play well as an offense, but you see the him be able to make big plays. But I speak way more what he's done for the room, what he's done. Like when you go out to practice and you watch Brandin Cooks just prepare and in between drills, what he's doing. Like he is a pro's pro. There's a reason he's in this league this long, and he impacts our offense on the field. But I think our guys naturally see him and see a guy that's been doing it for so long at such a high level, and it's like, all right, well, shoot, maybe I should be doing that right now. And so I think that helps us in itself. I'm sure it was kind of like Coop last year. I mean, you get traded or you sign, and it's just, you're just sprayed with a water hose up until, to get a break. And so I thought it was important for him it was a great opportunity for those other guys, but to get his, not saying his legs aren't back, but just to get him a set for the same mental, just, hey, take a sec, reset, and now we're rolling into the playoffs. And he obviously wasn't happy to hear that, wanted to go, but he knows all he cares about is winning football games right now, and that's helpful.